Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game 52 of the Real Racquetball Show. Maurice, how are you?
Doing all right, Mike. Just got back in town a little bit too while ago. Doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing all right. I'm feeling better from time to time, but seems like I need to take a nap about every 30 minutes.
I feel that.
It's been a little rough, but that's all right. Glad you made it home safe. Hope you had a good time. We're gonna bring Stuart in a little later, and we'll chat a little bit about the U.S. Open, kind of what everybody's thoughts were about it, and discuss that. But before we get to that, we have a special guest that I know everybody loves to have on, and we always like getting Mike Coulter to come on and chat about the events coming up. So if we can bring Mike on, we are going to. Mike, welcome to the Real Racquetball Show. Thank you for taking time to join us.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Maurice. Good to see you guys, and thanks for asking me back on again. I appreciate it.
You bet. Well, it's that time of the year again.
Yeah, it's that time of year for me coming up. But, hey, congratulations on another great U.S. Open. Saw a lot of great matches on the live stream. It looked like you guys were busy, had your hands full, and just looked like an overall good time for everybody there. So congratulations on another good tournament and doing that. And now that that's over and behind you, you can get a little bit of rest. But now I can be excited about 3-wall ball in about 3 weeks, and I'll take a little bit of your ear up here and talk, and you guys can rest and do that. I'm sure you had plenty of talk in the last few days, so I'll give you a couple of stats on the tournament going there. We've got the numbers starting to climb up there, and we're a little ahead of last year's entries into the tournament. So I'm hoping we're going to get to that 400 to 500 mark in the tournament. Up on the screen right now, you've got the Halloween costume contest on Saturday night, which is going to be an awesome time. We're going to have 4 different categories with some prize money in there for everybody, just as an added fun thing to do. So to be in the costume contest, you either got to be playing in the tournament or a staff member of it. And so you qualify for the $250 first prizes in 4 different divisions. So it should be fun. I know a lot of the ladies from the LPRT, a lot of the Southern California guys are excited about it, and just having a good time with that. And like usual, we're going to do our military color guard stuff that goes on. Friday night, we'll have an ice cream social. Thursday night's a ladies' night for them to all get done playing a little bit early and get into the hotel casino bar and have a little bit of fun there. And then on Wednesday night, to start the event off, we'll be doing our charity pro-am doubles to help benefit the military adaptive court sports to do that. So we raise a little bit of money for them every year and make that happen. So really looking forward to it. I've been down to California the last 2 out of the last 3 weekends playing with some of the guys down there to get them excited. A lot of phone calls coming in. We got both the LPRT and IRT coming back in, so we've got a lot of good players coming in from there. A lot of the players were up at your tournament this last weekend, so that should be good. We're excited. The good news is our hotel room block is sold out at the cheaper rates. There's still some rooms available at the Strat, but they're a little bit pricier than the original room block. But you can still call and try to sneak one in. They kind of shut that off on Friday after the first of the month, but we've booked over 1,000 room nights there for the week at the hotel. The big benefit of having a hotel like the Strat is they've got a couple thousand rooms there, but we're taking up about 25% of their rooms for the overall event. The next exciting thing to say is that I actually start building the courts on the hotel property a week from this Wednesday. And one of the things that'll be kind of neat this year that we're going to do, we're going to put up a time-lapsed camera up on one of the light poles so that it takes a picture down on the area for getting to see that. Even though we've done the drone stuff in the past and kind of showed people some still pictures, it was always relied on me remembering to take a picture every few hours when I'm busy doing something else. But we're going to put a time-lapse camera up there and show that to everybody, show all the work that it takes to get into building that and putting it up. But like I said, we start hauling everything in there next Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and for a week and a half, we'll build the entire city and have it ready to go for everybody to come out and practice. We'll have the courts open on that Tuesday, the 25th, for starting to practice on. So Tuesday and Wednesday will be practice time before all the other good things for the tournament starts. And we added that squash 57 this year. Tim Baghurst was nice enough to put that together to add something new to the tournament. And then Sudsy and Veronica were nice enough to help sponsor it, along with a couple other people to throw some prize money into that. So we want to say thank you to them for doing that. Tim's not going to be able to be here for it because he's got a conflict with Florida State University, but his buddy Frank Lopez will be overseeing that. our overall event director is going to be Peggy. So anybody that's got any questions about the event, just give her a holler as we're getting closer to it. And then Aaron Embry will be taking care of our paddleball part of it. And then Tom and Javi Flores will be taking care of our handball part that'll be going on the weekend too. So that gives you a big update. And then all the rest of the Team 3 wall ball people will be helping out doing all the other fun things that we do. One of the other things I want to make sure that I say to everybody, without our great sponsors that we've had, and I've got a lot of great sponsors that have been with me for a number of years, KWM, Keith Gutterman, stepped up and is the title sponsor for the event again this year. AGE, a buddy of mine named Andy that always steps up and helps out every year to make that happen. ProChemics is a presenting sponsor. You got MZ Companies with Teresa and Abel, Mike Kinkin with Team Dovetail stepping up into there in the bigger role of that. And then obviously one of my big construction sponsors from all my years of working with them is Ahern, and then obviously the hotel as well. Like I said, it takes an entire team of people to make an event like this come off, as you guys well know from this last weekend of what you just did. Luckily, I've got a lot of friends that can jump in and help out. So that's really kind of everything in a nutshell. We got 2 more weeks to sign it up. So telling everybody hurry up and get signed up now. Still look around, check for some of the rooms. Like I said, try calling the hotel and try to sneak your way in, maybe talking your way into getting into the room block. But they raise the rates up a little bit more. There's a lot of events going on, but there's still a number of other hotels that are right there next to the property you might be able to stay at and do that. So in a nutshell, we're 3 weeks away from playing and having a great time on the strip with all the fun events that we got going on with. So it's gonna be a big party. I know Maurice, you with the family, you got a little bit of conflict there, and Mike, you're getting settled into a little bit of retirement time. But I know hopefully if you don't make it out this year, next year might be another year you take a chance at it. And hopefully I gave you a quick little update on everything that's happened there. It's gonna be kind of exciting. We've got a VIP bleacher seating area up on top that's gonna have cocktail service and a hostess up there. There's about a half a dozen seats left up there for that. It's otherwise the rest of the tournament you can wander around free and watch. There's no charge to watch the tournament, but if you want to be in a VIP area that's got some big screen TVs in it and a hostess and some cocktail service and food, we've got a few seats left up there for that. But like I said, once again, I want to thank all the team of people that helped put this together and our sponsors. We couldn't do it without it. And we appreciate USA Racquetball and WAR being involved in the event, whether you're here in person or you're just helping us out behind the scenes and promoting the event. It's great. We'll be doing some great live streaming again, and everybody can see all the sponsors that we have there. We have a number of sponsors, and I left a few of the other ones out, and I apologize for that. I just kind of hit a number of those, but we got Rocky. Kane got hurt, so there's not it's not 100% out that he's out for the tournament yet, but we don't know that until the time comes. But Rocky will be playing in it. You got Mara in there, you got Acuna in there, you got you got Alvaro coming back in there to play. And on the ladies' side, you got Kaylani, you got Michelle, you got Janelle, you got Kayla. Holly Scott's playing in there. Carla Munoz is playing in there. So we've got 7 to 10 of the top players, both on the men's and women's sides, already committed, and I think a lot more of them are coming out. They got another tournament this weekend coming up, but just a lot of good stuff. So that kind of tells you a little bit about the tournament, getting you updated on it. Still got plenty of time to get signed up. Look for some good flights. Peggy's been putting that up. Southwest Airlines, Allegiance, United with the membership of the USRA. You got some opportunities with that for a little discount. So you got to work a little harder to get a little discount, save a little bit of money, but it's going to be a big vacation weekend. I'll stop for a minute, catch my breath, and see if you guys got any questions for me. And otherwise, I know you guys got a lot of other topics and recap of the Open to talk about, but I appreciate you letting me get on here and talk about 3-wall ball, since that's our next major event up, even though they've got an IRT stop this next weekend in San Francisco. But I wanted to be able to talk about 3-wall ball, and I thank you for that.
Yeah, well, everybody puts that on the calendar, so we know it's the next one everybody's got looking forward to. And the link for everybody wanting to sign up is in the chat room. So click on the link, jump in there, and get signed up. You say there's about 400 people entered in the tournament. What's your max? Do you have a limit that you would max that out at?
No, I would think if we got to 600 or 700. I with our courts that we have planned to be built, we're going to build between 15 and 17 courts. If we got a big influx at the last minute, I can still put up. I've got the good part about the parking lot, as you've seen, Mike. I can actually expand the courts. I'd have to build a little bit, grab a little bit more material and add that to it. But we're hoping to have between 400 to 500 players this year's tournament. It would be a nice turnout for it to be successful and everybody have a good time. But the big thing here is most people, hardly anybody ever plays just 2 events. Most of the people come here and sign up for anywhere from 2 to 4 events, and 4 events is the maximum. So they get plenty of playing time in. So even though you got a bunch of match court hours, you know, we'll start at 7 in the morning and play until midnight, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then Sunday will be on 9 in the morning, you know, 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. We try to get everybody out of here on Sunday by 3 to catch flights home and doing that and being able to make sure that happens. So, you know, we could always take as many players. We get more players. I've always said if every racquetball player would just introduce one new player to our big tournaments, we'd get our numbers back up there. Everybody who comes to the tournaments always enjoys it. One of the great things about our event is I would guess right now that, don't hold me exactly the number, but right around 100 players have been to at least 12 out of our, this will be our 13th event this year. So 11 out of 12 years, we've had about 100 players that have been to at least 11 of the 12 events. So we've probably got a solid 75 that have made every single year of the tournament. And then obviously multiple players that have been here, you know, half a dozen times in doing that. But all the top pros like to come out and play and give it a shot. It's just a fun time being out in the sun and doing that. Some years have been a little hotter than others, but then you also get to play underneath the stadium lights. And like when I was a kid growing up for football, it's like getting to play on Monday Night Football, as your Chiefs just did such a great job last night. I know you're smiling ear to ear about how they played with Mahomes playing great against Brady again last night. So, you know, that was always it. You always obtained to play underneath the lights.
Yep, absolutely. Well, it's great that you can, that nobody has to worry. Everybody can sign up. There's no limit on it. You can expand the tournament to house, to take care of everybody that you need. So, and one of the, you know, when you mentioned you start at 7 and play till 11, 12 o'clock at night, but it's Vegas. They never sleep. So Absolutely. That's not weird to play till midnight because the party's still going when you're done.
Yeah, that's the good part in the hotel. You can still get back in there. I mean, every restaurant might not be open in there, but, you know, you got a coffee shop in there and you got plenty of other places to go. And, you know, in Vegas, it's 24/7. So you got some things going on throughout the night. And, you know, the shift changes usually at 4 o'clock in the morning. So you get that. But a lot of the people that you see when you first went upstairs to go to bed are just getting off of work when you're getting back up to whether you're going down to the coffee shop down in there to get something to eat, or you're going to grab a cup of coffee real quick. There's people wandering around that you see and you're going, holy smokes. And then you're going to see a friend or two of yours that still sit at the same blackjack table or a slot machine because I was on a win streak. I got to get back, or then I hit a bad losing streak and I got to get my money back. So there's people that hang out in the casino all night. There's a reason there's no clocks in there, and there's lots of fresh air pumped in all the time. I mean, even though there's a little bit of smoke in a couple of the casinos, but they're constantly pumping oxygen in there to keep people awake, and they do that for a reason. I mean, I will tell you this, and it's not a well-known secret, but our casinos have now hit a new winning streak for 18 months of winning $1 billion or more. So everybody that complains about the COVID didn't get everybody to stay home. $1 billion for 18 straight months, and usually anywhere from 50 to 75% of that is you know, won on the strip. So we got a lot of other good things going on here. You know, you'll have the football games going on the weekend before. The Raiders aren't at home that weekend, but then the Golden Knights will be here. We got some music festivals, and you know, next year, like I said, we're gonna be looking at pushing up a little bit earlier in the year because next year we got the Formula One race coming in here, but that's another show for going in the future. But there is just so many massive events going on every single weekend here. The weekends, you know, and it's, you know, I mean, you know, one of the tough things is, like I've told you guys, you're staying in the same room. It's really dirt cheap on Sunday through Thursday, but then Friday and Saturday come around, supply and demand. You know, I mean, everybody from California comes up here, and the rooms we've stayed at about 90 to 95% occupancy rate for the last year and a half. Again, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, you know, if we were able to do the tournament Sunday through Thursday, like back in the 90s, I actually got to do that with the gosh darn it, I'm forgetting the name of the group, the MMA or MRA, the
MRA.
Master Association. Yeah, I apologize for that. But they used to come and play their events always from starting on Monday and finish on Thursday night. And they, you know, we get those dirt cheap room rates and doing stuff, but everybody wants to be in Vegas on the weekends, you know, and then, you know, like Resorts World's opened up too. But the Strat's been a phenomenal host for us for 13 years now, and we're glad to be there. And hey, we're still negotiating for next year's dates, and we'll see what's going on. And we're excited about it. You know, we got this event, and then we've already got next year's 3 outdoor events going. But get signed up for this year's event. We appreciate everybody wanting to come out, and hopefully you guys will invite me on a week or two after the event's over, give you a quick recap for that. And like I said, I appreciate the time being on here. And like I said, I probably should shut up so you guys can get on and talk about your U.S. Open results and everything you guys did there. Unless you got any other questions for me, I can finish up with you. Maurice, you've talked way too much like usual, but I see you sitting there smiling.
Every time I got a question, you'll literally ask me. I'm like, all right, Mike, keep going. You got it. Like,
I got it. I answered it before you could ask is what you're telling me.
Yeah, like, all right, okay, well, just keep going. I'll figure something, and then when I do figure something out, you're giving even more information. I'm like, all right, Mike, you're making me useless over here. I'm just gonna sit here and try to keep smiling. But
sit there and look pretty.
Well, you guys have done a great job for Racquetball. I appreciate everything you guys do on every show you do, and going to the events and doing it. I for one know how hard it is to do this stuff, and we always get a little bit of bickering behind the scenes sometimes. People don't really have a clue of how much work it takes in doing this, especially for a lot of people being a volunteer position. And everybody doesn't really understand that everybody's got families and career jobs they do, and they do this as a side hustle and want everybody to have a good time. So I appreciate everything you guys do to help the sport out, and hopefully we can keep this surge going again and have a lot of things happening. And that's it. I appreciate you guys having me on the show, and I'll let you get on to the U.S. Open. Maurice, put it on your calendar for next year. As soon as I announce the dates, no more this winter. Turn the TV on once in a while. You know what that means. And Mike, you get healthy again, so you're here. But we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try. If I don't make it this year, Maurice is already, since he's going to be settled up and ready to go next year.
Yeah,
he owes me a match. We're going to play together.
I do.
So maybe
it's always a great time.
Year is probably going to be it. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll look forward to it. Like I said, look forward to seeing you guys on here, and I thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for everything you do, Mike.
Absolutely. We really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you soon. All right. Hey, what a great guy. He works so hard on this event and all the other events. He's kind of taken a role in all of the big three events and helps organize them and run them, and it's a lot of time. So he's committed, and I just really applaud all the work he does and all the people who go out and support him and let him know that everybody appreciates it. It's hard. It's hard, and the last 4 years now, I've had some struggles that you shouldn't have to put up with, but he's worked through them, and he's kept that Vegas event going, and it's worked real well. I really appreciate what Mike's done and consider him a friend. We butt heads a lot, but by golly, it's only because we're both passionate about what we're doing. So good stuff. All right. And kind of as the last part of it, as I said, the link for the tournament is in the chat box. Jump in there, register for the event. The rooms are cheap. Go in there and find your room. Go enjoy it. It's a different event. You'll love it. All right. And with that, as he said, we just wrapped up the U.S. Open. So let's bring in our next guest, which is the president of the board, Stuart Solomon. He's also the gentleman in the back pushing all the buttons, controlling everybody. Stuart, welcome to the show.
You look okay.
So while you're pushing buttons and controlling everything, tell us a little bit about the U.S. Open. What was your impression walking away from it, and kind of what you think it is?
It was exhausting. Absolutely exhausting.
Yes.
Yeah. So having all of the activities going on, and being down a couple staff members, behind the table, it really had me. I just really physically rolled up my sleeves. I had to roll up my sleeves at the event and help him behind the scenes. But talking with a few people at the event, both the people that I traveled there with, and then random people across the way, it was a mixed reaction, but it was mostly on the good side. People really enjoyed the hospitality and the focus towards the amateurs, which is what Connor was going for. Connor was really going for this focus on the amateurs at the event. while still maintaining some help. And Roger saying it was exhausted.
Yeah.
Yes. Roger more so than anything else. We still maintained that feel for pros, and look, we were able to literally slap this together in a short period of time, and I thought it came off really well. Being a goal box holder in the past, sitting in the goal box on the side of the court this time around, we had the general admission right behind us. We were like enveloped by the fans, and so it was really cool to be that close to the glass. We could, exciting rallies. We could have been pounding on the glass like a hockey match. We had some restraint, but we could have been pounding on the glass if we wanted to, and having the fans right above us, it was a really great feel.
Good. And for those that don't know, I arrived on Friday night. We were setting up, or Sunday, and we set up Monday and Tuesday. And unfortunately, I was feeling under the weather and decided, with as tight as that event was going to be and as cozy as it was, I should probably go see what it is that's making me feel ill. I went and got tested for COVID and tested positive. So I immediately quarantined myself, got out of the building and stayed out, and tested 4 more times during the week, trying to get something that would show as negative and I could go back in the building, but it never did happen. So I was really devastated not to see all of that work. But I was there Wednesday until about noon when the results came in, and then immediately left. But there were several parts that I thought were really cool that I wish I could have been there to experience more. And your hoodie is part of that. The vendor that was printing on apparel right on site, so you could pick what you wanted and have the US Open logo put onto it right there, fresh, your size, your color, whatever you want. I thought was a really kind of a cool idea. Maurice, you were there. What was your take on that? What was the feedback on the vendor?
On the vendor with shirts, fine. I'm not a big tournament shirt guy because I've got a substantial amount. So my brother Marquise actually got I think a quarter zip of it, and he put the logo on his back, just wide across. I mean, there was many places you could put them, and then my dad towards the end ended up snagging a hoodie, kind of like Stewart did. And it's like, and I, as y'all know, before the show, I was like, dang, Stewart, that's the one thing I wanted was a hoodie. And if y'all ever see me at a tournament, I always have a hoodie on. I'm notoriously cold, and
not just a hoodie on, but like
hood up, always. And I get flack for that a lot, but it's like my ears are always cold. Like, I'm sorry. And that was one of the things that was different was, sometimes if you want to make your shirt a little bit more personal, or you want it a certain way, having that vendor being able to give you what you wanted, whether it's a hoodie, a quarter zip, another type of t-shirt, or maybe you just wanted a slightly different design. Curtis was phenomenal in that. I think they were very personable. And allowed, players to be able to pick whatever they wanted. That was my opinion on it.
Good. Well,
yeah,
I love the concept.
Sorry, Mike, but the ability to customize. I saw some guys walking around with the that logo that the vendor put together. Yeah. Not this logo, but there was the shield that had like the eagle on it.
Yeah, the eagle one. Yeah.
I was gonna put that one on here too, but I wanted something more recognizable. But I saw people rocking that on the back of their hoodies, and I was like, oh, I missed the boat. I really missed the boat on that one. And they had that on the back, and then this on like on the sleeve, and I'm like, man, I really missed the boat on that one.
Just the amount of ways you could have customized what you would have wanted was your imagination at that point.
Yeah,
that's good. It's all about branding and getting the image out there so that they take that back with them, show it off, and really love what they've received rather than it just being something that was pre-printed. So love that. The hospitality you mentioned, I thought was a really kind of a cool setup, and they worked really hard to provide hospitality for everybody, the VIPs and the amateurs all. And I love that concept to bring the amateurs a little bit more of an experience. So what was what was your take on that? What was your thought on the hospitality setup?
Yeah, I thought hospitality was good. I'm not gonna lie, it was different from what I expected. With all the planning that went into it, I had a whole different thought and feel, especially based off of having the VIP lounge before. It wasn't the same feel, but again, it's a stepping stone. It's a whole new venue and it's a whole new layout, right? There's some things that we can change moving forward to make things a little better, both for the hospitality side and then vendors, right? We have the vendors away from the courts. I'm sure the vendors would be better off, they would feel better closer to the courts. But again, it's first time running through that venue, and there's things that we can change, and we know that. And I'm sure we'll have a survey coming out shortly to all the players that participated to understand what were the pros, what were the cons, what are some things we keep, what are the things we changed. But overall, for a first take, the fact that we had food for all of the players, I think that right there made it. I talked to one player who said on day one, just having access to that food, that it was the best U.S. Open they had been to. just by having access to the food, right? It's just that small little thing. And it just, I think we hit the mark to have the food there, and I think we can just ratchet it up from there.
Right. Yeah. For me, amateur wise, like that whole experience for them, obviously the pros are the pros, but your regular player is going to be an amateur. And from years previous, it was tough getting food unless you supported local restaurant. I didn't hear a complaint about food except distance, away. But first tournament, a lot of feedback on Facebook about things that were going on, which is appreciated. You can either tag it or just make your post. One that comes off is Jaime Torres, I think, posted on there. It was like, thank you. Like we want to know what the perspective is, because we want to provide a product that can be consumed by everybody and will enjoy it, because this is Connor's first one and he didn't have as much as he would have wanted. So next year, and next year's going to be, after learning some of the stuff from this year, I think we're going to be able to put on a fantastic event. I think it ranks up there highly for me in U.S. Opens. Obviously, experience was different because it was exhausting. There was a lot going on to make sure the experience for the players, pro and amateur, was good. Obviously, I wish UN would take that freaking film down. But we can't control that. That's
right. Some things you can't control.
Yeah, we can't control that.
But you can control, as you could see, they took that one glass
panel.
Oh, the IRT. IRT worked with the university to get that panel taken down and a new fresh one put in place. For the streaming.
I was impressed with that. That was very, very creative, creative, and it really looked good on the broadcast. That was worthwhile doing. And I hope everybody that went and the viewers and the people that watched it and all those type of things give it some perspective and understand that it isn't the U.S. Open of last year and the year before. Doug was a master at it, and he had run it 25 times. So he'd run that event a lot of times, had a lot of learning, and had made a science of it and was very good at it. This was the first one the USA Racquetball's done, and we will learn from it. Next year will be better. And it will be different a little bit, and it'll be better. We'll learn from it. So, but yes.
Sorry, Mike, not to cut you off, but I don't think a lot of people know Connor won like this really huge award in 2020. It was like the game changer of the year in like the sports category. We're talking every sport, like he won it. So like he kind of knows what he's doing a little bit. And for him, like I said, he didn't have the resources and time to be able to do what he wanted. And if anyone has anything, ask him, or tell him what you think, and he can use that and do with what he can with it, because it really will be a fantastic event. It's the U.S. Open,
Connor and I spent a lot of time with each other over the course of this week. And we talked about a lot of different, I told him in his little office, which was really a closet back by the trainers, I told him he needed a dry erase board on the wall so we could write down all these thoughts and ideas as we came up with them.
Yeah.
And the one day I actually asked him to give me a tour of the university, of the 4 different locations that we have at our disposal for next year to be able to place the stadium court. And they all have they all have pros and cons. You know,
Yep.
mostly the cons is, you know, the cost and time
Yeah.
that it would take. But they all have pros on how to be able to set it up and capitalize on the show court moving forward. So, you know, it's not that we, by any stretch of the imagination, think that the show court will never come back. This was just a quick pause. And I think for the pause that we had, what we did with the staging to be able to have that eagle nest that we had behind the court and be able to have the staging behind the goal boxes, and the goal boxes right. I was talking to some of the guys at the goal boxes right on the glass. They're like, we would love to have this on the stadium court. Can we have this? Can we have our table against the glass on the stadium court? Like, I don't know. We can look at it, but they were really hyped for that.
Yeah. Oh, and as JD said,
I saw that. Yeah.
Right? The hotel, y'all don't understand. Working the event too and playing, 2 to 3 minute walk. Like it was you come down the elevator, take a left, go out a door, you see the venue, and we put banners outside, right? So anybody coming in that general direction or area, you could see it. And as soon as you get there, you walk in and you just see racquetball.
Yeah.
Just people playing on both sides of the court. And as you keep heading on, you're heading towards the show court area. And, you know, from Wednesday to Friday, you had both courts going and you had bleacher seating on both. Great. You know, for, like I said, for what it was, as an amateur, it was, to me, a little bit more inclusive than a couple, like nothing against Doug. Doug ran a fantastic event. It was great. It's just, for me, looking at it, was like, hey, this is pretty awesome.
Yep. And you know, the goal is next year to blend that with kind of what Doug did. If we get the sponsors signed that we've been working on for a couple of years, and it takes years to build those title sponsors like that. And there are a couple of them that are in strong work right now. But you set that court up in one of these areas right close to that, and then still have the amateur experience and that glass court experience. It's going to be unbelievable. It really will. And I love the area. The hotel is phenomenal. For those that didn't go, that Graduate Hotel is, like I said, it's a minute walk around the corner. It's a beautiful hotel. But I had a conversation with one of the managers of the facility that we were in, and I was a little surprised that it was the individual that Connor worked with a lot. And they told me that they were really surprised. They didn't understand that this was what we were building there. They thought this was just another big tournament. They'd had national championships there and stuff. They didn't understand that this was the U.S. Open. So they were talking to me about, look, we want to help more. We want to do more for you next year. This is huge. So it's hard to explain to somebody a racquetball tournament and explain to them what the U.S. Open is if they've never been to it. If they never went to the Target Center, you just don't grasp it. So I think next year will be bigger and better because more people will buy into what the vision is for it. If the sponsors come back on board and we can put the glass court up, which we fully expect to, boy, it's going to be huge. It really is going to be great. So it was a lot of fun.
I kept telling people, look, this might not have been the same feel that the previous U.S. Opens were. This may have felt more of a national championship than a U.S. Open, but this was a foundation, and this is a growing point, right? This is the starting point. Rome wasn't built in a day. We did what we could with what we had, the hand that we were dealt, and it's only up and up from here.
Right, and I look forward to it. I think there's great things coming for the U.S. Open, and you know we never claimed that this was going to be the same as the U.S. Open of past. We didn't make that claim. This was going to be different, and I thought it was great. All the feedback I received was great. I can't tell you how much disappointed I am that I wasn't able to be there and be part of it. When the matches were going on, I've spent the last 15, 16, 17 years sitting next to the court watching those matches happen. This was the first year I wasn't there. I can't believe it. So, but next year. Well, any other thoughts that people that talked to you or things that came up that you thought were really, really significant about the U.S. Open?
I mean, the big significance for me is all the people that were involved, right? The people that we got involved putting it together. You know, I see Carrie popped into the box here. She was hugely instrumental in getting a lot of things moving and moving along. You know, the player party, we got stuck at the club late. You know, we were running late on Saturday night, unfortunately. And we weren't able to bring the full force, the full power of the US Open to Surly's. But Surly's, we're coming back, Surly's. We'll be there. We'll be there. Big shout out and thank you to all the volunteers that helped out.
Yeah. And
sorry, but for me, the amount of college kids, like Carrie said, that really were interested, while we were setting up, they're like, "What are you doing? What is this?" Like, it's the U.S. Open of racquetball. Yeah, it's here. Yeah. Can we watch it? Can we come through? Are there tickets? Yes, you can come through. You know, come watch racquetball, whether it's the pro matches or just come to see it. The amount of interest there, to me, help. That's what you want when you're growing a sport, right?
Right.
Seeing some form of information or just something, visibility somewhere, and being recognized for it, and then now having interest and then capitalizing on said interest.
Right.
That's how you grow the sport. And these are college kids, you know?
Yeah, Maurice, to that point, one of the things I talked to Connor about was next year, a week before or a couple days before the event starts, we need to have some clinics there for anybody that can come down and just show them and teach them the sport. And in that's almost like a pre-media episode ahead of the US Open happening. And it's almost that primer to get the campus ready. Look, this is what the sport is, and have some video and show people what it is. And then they'll come back knowing the sport. There was a number of people that I was explaining the sport to, and I was able to grab a couple. Even Connor got on the court.
Connor got on the court.
Connor did really? No way. Where's the picture?
Come on, Mike.
Yeah, he did.
I'm gonna need pictures.
Yeah. So I have a couple pictures. I got 2 videos.
Yeah. That is phenomenal. Oh man. So it was really neat. And there was a couple good comments. I appreciate everybody jumping in the chat room and talking about different things. Carrie was a huge part of running the Open. Carrie, cannot thank you enough. You did an incredible job helping out and making things happen. And it's folks like Carrie. There were a lot of them. I'm not leaving anybody out on purpose, but there were a lot of it helped this happen. And it was fantastic. JD made a comment about Fridley only running for 1 day and how nice that was. And they ran like a couple hours ahead the whole time they were there. It's true. We really worked hard to squeeze everybody into the one facility because we don't like dividing people up in playing different facilities. So it was a big driver. Fortunately, the tournament grew large enough that we had to use Fridley, and I'm sure next year we'll use it even more because there will be bigger numbers. So it was incredible, and I love the idea of bringing some of the players in early to do clinics. And Carrie volunteered to help run one of those. She runs clinics all the time in Nebraska and has really done a great job growing the sport up there. So I think that's phenomenal. That should be one of the things that we absolutely do that grows the Minneapolis, the sport right there by getting all those college kids to play. So we should figure out something, either some challenge, racquetball challenge to get the college kids to come in and play, and something we can do before the tournament starts. That'd be cool. Love that idea. Yeah. And it was a huge village, a lot of great people, and cannot thank you enough, because the US Open was going to happen. It was going to happen. We were not going to not allow that to be. And I thought it came off really well. Some neat things, some good learnings. It's not all perfect. We learned from it, and it will be better next year.
And I see. I want to touch on Jorge's comment real quick about missing some of the streamings, some of the matches. Right. This was no different than previous U.S. Opens, where we had the glass court, where we had the IRT going, and the LPRT had their court going, and we only had 2 courts going at any maximum time with streaming capabilities. Right. But going forward, 25 years ago, before streaming existed, I drew up plans on like an ideal racquetball facility, right? And I had it with a bar on top, a pub restaurant on top, where you would sit down with this like jukebox style TV, and you'd have a CCTV camera on every court, and you could just sit down and order some food and hit a button and watch whatever match you want, right? Yeah. That was what went in my mind before streaming was a thing, right? And so, Jorge, absolutely. it's definitely something we would love to be able to have a camera on every court. I don't think it's at this point, unless you know somebody in Canon or Nikon or something that would like to sponsor cameras on each court.
Yep.
I don't know if we can get a camera on every court. But it's just like the previous U.S. Opens, and again, it's a building point, right? If we can get to more courts, let's get to more courts. It's a starting point.
And speaking of streaming, that's one of those, 5, 6, 8 years ago, we were lucky to have one court streaming. Now we've got 2 phenomenal courts being streamed. And boy, it was mentioned this in our pre-event show. I've got to give props out. Both the LPRT and the IRT streaming was so professional looking. I love the graphics on the screen is better than it was before. It used to be just a box and it had text in it. Now they've got beautiful graphics. The instant replay is immediate. The moment the play happens, they hit a button and it shows instant replay and the live, so you don't lose what's going on. They really did a great job, both of them. JD, your hand in that is so obvious. Great job how put that together. The IRT, just phenomenal. I really love the streaming. But you're right that the next step is we start expanding more courts. So you can do just like you say, you should be able to pick which courts you want to watch. It may not have the professional commentary on it. The main courts will only have that, but you should be able to watch it and get a score to come up on the scoreboard. And that's coming. It's in development with the scoreboard thing. So it's coming, man. It's just the next step in the progress of streaming is to stream more courts and more courts, so eventually you can pick whatever match you want. So I love that, and it's coming. So good deal. All right. Well, that's most of the U.S. Open. I can't thank the players enough for entering. We really appreciate you taking the time, the effort, the energy to come and play and compete. Congratulations to all the winners. Just unbelievable competition. It is the U.S. Open. Those of you that competed, you got to compete in the U.S. Open, and those that won it, you're in the history books now. It will forever be written in next year's program. Look up your name. It will be listed in that division as a U.S. Open champion. So unbelievable. Applaud the Team USA players that competed. The women's doubles champion, unbelievable. That was such an incredible match. They did amazing work. She played also in the finals in the singles, gave Paola all she could handle. That was a great match. The men competed like champions. It was everybody. Congratulations. So we're pushing on 50 minutes. Let's jump on to the next topic real quick. I know that probably somebody might be interested in it, but those of you that don't know for sure, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I gave my resignation to USA Racquetball. This Friday, the 7th, is my last day. So this will be my last real racquetball show for myself. And I know that Maurice and Stuart and Connor and Renee will continue this and keep it going. I think it's a tremendous avenue to get information out. I loved having all the guests on, and I could not be more proud of what we built here. So I hope you guys keep it running. I think it fills that niche of information that we can provide out to the racquetball people.
Maurice, I know already has, afterwards. I already know Maurice has ideas.
Good.
So this isn't going anywhere.
And just maybe some once in a while, you guys might invite me back on to be a guest or something. I'd love to come back and help.
Only from a
chat about racquetball.
Absolutely.
I've absolutely not lost my passion for racquetball, and certainly have not lost my passion for USA Racquetball. It is the kingpin of racquetball. Without it, and without all the work that all the volunteers do, racquetball suffers for it. So applaud all the volunteers and all the work that everybody does. So Stuart, I'll let you give a little bit of information. I know there's not a lot out yet, but a little information, kind of what the next steps are as far as the role for executive director goes.
Sure. Yeah. So we had hoped to have the job description for the executive director out already with the planning wrap ups for the US Open. Things got a little pushed back. At the same time, I was also trying to wrap up my own work because, just so happens at the same time, this is total coincidence. I don't want anybody reading anything into this. Total coincidence. I was able to get a leave of absence from work because I just wanted to work on racquetball stuff locally. I'm trying to build a high school program here in Plymouth, Massachusetts. And I needed some free time to be able to do that. Work was just getting in the way. But I wanted to be able to, and I love Al Nylum. I love you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to take this leave of absence and to, be taking me back in January. But, trying to get all that work kind of rounded out, we weren't able to get the job description, finalized. So we hope to have that finalized this week. We'll have some back and forth emails across the board. I think we're in a pretty good place. We'll have it posted, and then people can take a look and can submit their resumes. However, we won't be jumping right into the hiring process right away. There'll be some time before we actually hire on a salaried executive director. And so there'll be a bit of time while we kind of get our legs underneath us and try to figure out the path forward. So, stay tuned for the job description to come out. In the interim, I'll be serving as volunteer interim executive director for whatever period of time that takes. And there'll be more news coming out along the way with that. So
good. Well, and I know that puts USA Racquetball in good hands. Really appreciate your stepping in and doing that, and the timing for your sabbatical from work is really good because they can use it. The association will move forward and be strong for it. And
I'd hoped to get some stuff done around the house too, but now that's going to have to wait. I'm not going to be able to clean out the basement and the garage. Just going to be working on the racquetball house instead.
There you go. There you go. And to help with the racquetball house, since you mentioned that, the next topic.
I like that.
Oh my God.
Segue right into that. And by the way, Joanne Palmero, thank you. I've enjoyed your time when you were on the board. We were on the board together. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's been a bigger challenge than what I thought it was going to be with the COVID situation happening, but we've survived it, and racquetball is going to come out of it just fine. So thank you very much. But the next topic is the U.S. Team Challenge. We still have some things coming up. The graphic that's on your screen is of the U.S. junior team. Phenomenal team. They really have a strong team. The head coach, Tim Baghurst, is going to lead them to victory when they travel to the World Championships. But the U.S. Team Challenge, really important. The funding for those folks to go, the support team to go. We really appreciate the benefactors. Stuart's done a lot of work on the Team Challenge. So I'm going to let Stuart tell you a little bit about the details of it, but please jump onto that and help out a little bit. That's a really good cause to support the juniors and the adults in the U.S. team.
Oh, sure. Pass the buck to me, Mike. Thanks. So, so the Team USA Challenge, it's big. It helps both the adult and the junior team compete internationally. And we went out and found benefactors to help support the Team USA Challenge. As you can see on the graphic, Usher and Rick and Cheryl, Vinny of Voodoo Brewing, Mike Lippett on behalf of Reach Your Dream, myself and Cindy, we all pitched into this bucket to be able to match any donations that come in to the Team USA Challenge. So every donation of $100 or more is going to be matched dollar for dollar by those benefactors, and it goes a long way to helping the USA budget to help support the international play. There's a lot of countries out there that are struggling to send teams, and we don't ever want to be in a position where we're struggling to support our team and sending our team to play internationally. And so that's where this Team USA Challenge comes in. It far outreaches just racquetball. So feel free to tap your buddy on the shoulder who really gets behind Team USA and the Olympics, or just guess behind the flag in general, this far exceeds racquetball. This is about Team USA representing, these players, these juniors are going to go to Guatemala with Team USA on their back, and supporting the country. And the feel that I had the privilege of heading down to Mexico and representing USA racquetball from a leadership perspective at the Worlds that happened down there. And we had a team dinner, and I said at the team dinner that I've never been to the Olympics, but I feel like this is the closest feeling I could ever feel to being at the Olympics. Not rooting just for a player, right? We were just at the U.S. Open, and we're cheering for Erica as Team USA. We're cheering for the Bredenbecks as Minnesota homegrown talent. But when you're down in Mexico or you're at these international events, you're cheering Team USA, and Team USA is locked arm and cheering for each other. And so it really means a lot. And Roger, the MVP of the team, the trainer for the team, he actually raffled off a compression system at the U.S. Open, and that raised close to $1,000 for Team USA. So thank you, Roger, for that support.
Yeah.
And thank you to everybody that put an entry in to help support Team USA.
Yeah.
But it's a huge opportunity to keep this going. And while we have a $50,000 challenge, I'd love to be able to see us hit $100,000, because what that does is it gets us not through the rest of this year with Guatemala coming up, but it also sets up next year when we go down to Chile for the Pan Am competitions that are going to be taking place. There's 2 Pan Am competitions that will be taking place next year, and both of them down in Chile.
And part of that money, if we can grow that pot larger, it's always been part of one of my goals, is we have to grow that pot larger, because there are things that USA Racquetball does that we need to do more and do better. We need to have more camps and more training for the juniors and for the adults. And USA Racquetball needs to be able to help support that. We need to be able to compensate our coaches better, so that they're, it's not going to be a full-time job for them, but there needs to be more financial incentive for them to want to commit the time that they do. Right now, they do it because it's a passion for them. But there are a lot of ways we can grow USA Racquetball, the Team USA, better, and it costs money. The camps and the junior camps, and those that, if you talk to any of the players, the adults that are now playing, that played on the juniors, talk to them about some of the camps that they went to at the U.S. Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. It was some of the highlights of their career. So we want to give that experience to the juniors. It helps them be excited about racquetball. They tell their friends about it. Their friends then get excited about it and want to play, and the sport just continues to grow from the junior perspective. So it's a good cause. Really appreciate everybody's support. And I knew Roger was going to do a fundraiser. Congratulations. That's a huge, huge win. Thank you, Roger. Appreciate that a lot. It'll go a long ways to help out. Okay. Last things we're going to touch on real quick, and we're just going to touch on the next big indoor championship is national doubles, and we are tagging it the reunion on the court. It is the first national doubles since 2020. Because of COVID, we will be back in Tempe, Arizona, February 1st through the 5th. Write that date on your calendar, block it off, take some vacation time, plan to go.
Mike, I was corrected at the U.S. Open saying that I've never been to national doubles.
Yeah,
I was in May in Texas, so it's not going to be the first one.
Kind of double.
First one by itself.
Yeah, yep. That's true.
Small editorial correction there.
In Tempe, the national doubles, the standalone national double, which is always a big event. It gets a lot of people there. It's in February. For those of us that live in colder weather, Maurice not included in Atlanta.
What?
Boston, for Stuart, going to Tempe, Arizona in February, it is a dream.
You already know what I'm gonna look like. You already know.
So put that on your calendar. Again, February 1st through the 5th. Mark it down. Get your time off. National doubles. National High School Championship, Portland, Oregon. It's going to be at the MAC again this year, March 1st through the 5th, 2023. Hard to believe we're talking 2023 stuff, but we are. So
and
put
look
those
out.
two.
And look out, high school teams, because we're
Yep.
looking to send 2 high school players from Massachusetts, and we're gonna come looking to take the cup back to Massachusetts.
There you go.
Woo!
Stuart's going to grow a team. He's going to come after them. So put those on there. The rest of the championships, you'll get more information coming soon. Connor's going to take a breath, going to reorganize and just jump in real deep on doubles and high schools and get those moving. So put those on your calendar, plan to go, watch them, watch the streaming. The high schools is a phenomenal event to watch. It's a team event, much like Team USA. Everybody's cheering for their competitors and their friends and their teammates. So get involved. If you're in the Portland area or want to just come volunteer, reach out. It will energize your racquetball vibe just like you've never seen it before. That is an amazing thing to be around. All right, Stuart, any last parting moments before we call this one a show?
You know, the saying that I said a show or two ago about join a league, save a court, right? You know, I know we talk about reserving courts. Let's see if we can take that a step forward and, you know, create a league, join the league. That'll help save the courts.
Yep.
We don't have to worry about hashtag Connor, get Connor on the court, because we did that. We just need to make sure we get Mike back on the court, right, Maurice?
Right. Hashtag get Mike on a court.
Now he's gonna have free time. He's gonna have free time.
Heck yeah.
You say that, but that's not true. There's no dissolution that I'm retiring by any means. So.
that's all I
want to thank ProKinetics. ProKinetics put a comment in there. You're very welcome. Thank you very much for all of your work and effort in helping the U.S. Open happen. We were thrilled to have you there. So thank you very much. Maurice, what's your parting thoughts?
My parting thoughts was, sorry, Stuart. I know we said an hour, but I got to do this one. I'm sorry. Obviously, get Mike on a court. Like and share the feed.
Yes.
Try and nominate a real racquetball championship. Send it to cshane@usaracquetball.com. Like we said, any comments, questions, suggestions, U.S. Open or any tournament for that matter, send them our way because we appreciate it. I want to take the little bit of time I've got for Mike. We didn't really get to talk at U.S. Open this year. I spoke to Debbie months ago because I wanted to do something special for you, but unfortunately you weren't able to go. We met for real Nationals 2020, same with Connor, and from then on we've always maintained contact. Obviously not every day, but since joining the show, you've been instrumental in helping me get through some of the things with the board or even on the show. Random questions I have for you doing anything. You've been nothing but courteous, kind, and wise in helping me navigate that stuff. You've wished me happy birthday. Always ask Mama Dar. You and Stuart do too. But I appreciate that. You made me feel like a member of your family. Ironically, you were the only person that sent me something for Christmas, even though I don't celebrate holidays. But it was still, I appreciated it. And seeing you leave hurts a lot because that means I'm not gonna be able to see you a lot. I'm not gonna be able to talk. I mean, being able to see you, Connor, Renee, and Stuart at the Open, that's fun for me. I get to talk to you all virtually all the time. The work you put in your position is vastly underrated, and people really don't understand what it takes to be in your position. For you to step up to the plate and do what you did, I don't think you get enough credit for it. So thank you for everything that you've done for me and for everyone in racquetball. I personally appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate your friendship more than you know. You say we first really met at National Doubles in 2019.
Mine was 2020. Yeah,
2020. Yeah, and you were upset at the time.
Yep, highly.
You were hot.
I was pretty intense. Yeah.
And we worked through what the issue was the best we possibly could at the moment, and I've considered you a good friend ever since. So you're really one of the good guys in racquetball. So just keep working, fighting the good fight, and I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. Absolutely, one of the highlights of my life has been part of racquetball and all the people I've met. So I put you right at the top of that list, Maurice. I appreciate that a lot. Mm-hmm. It means a lot to me. It really does. So best of luck with your family. And I know you're working hard to make that a huge success, and it will be.
Thank you. I appreciate
Can't go
that.
any other way. All right. Well, everybody, really appreciate it. I've loved doing this show. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun being part of USA Racquetball. So everybody keep working, support USA Racquetball. It is absolutely critical for racquetball to survive and thrive. So everybody, appreciate it. Have a good night, and we will see you around the courts.
Bye, Red.